Gentlemen, start your engine. Gentlemen.
Good evening. Welcome to Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News with Scott Allen and Joe Staples. I guess we still got Joe with us. I mean, he's here, but
I'm sitting over here.
yeah, I ain't too sure. But anyway, all right. Well, what we got to talk about? What do you want to talk about first? It's a whole bunch of stuff. Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano. I mean, what else you want? I mean, it was a great race. It was super entertaining. But I mean, hey, watching those two guys at the end just shows you how important this chase is.
Yep.
I mean, and for Matt to fight and block to try to win, because that's his only chance to get into the next round. And Joey Logano saying, hey, you're one guy that I don't really want to race later.
So I'm going to make sure you know.
And did. And, and I respect that. I like that. It was funny. I was listening to some guys the other day who were talking about Joey Logano, and they said, a few years ago, he won a couple races here or there, and people didn't respect him. But now he is winning some races. He's not just winning a race here. He's winning multiple races.
He is on fire this season.
They made the comment earlier. I heard them listen on my way over here. They were talking that people were on Joey Logano because they said he didn't have no backbone and people pushed him around. Right. He said now all of a sudden he starts pushing back, and now they want to crucify him for that.
Right.
So I think it was just the way it was.
That's what I mean. I mean, it's good to see him fight back, and I think people respect him a little bit for it. I mean, you got to respect the guy for that.
Oh, he's come a long way from calling Delana Harvick out. I think he's done.
Well, yeah.
So,
he's wearing the fire. He's got a fire suit, and she's not.
And Kyle Busch won the Xfinity race Saturday. That was a good race. I enjoyed that one too because him and Kenseth were the cream of the crop there, and they had a really good race. Some news items from this week. How about Johnny Slaughter leaving ThorSport and going to Gallagher Motorsports?
That was a shock.
Nobody even said a word about that. That was even in the works, and that's a pretty neat deal. That I was talking to somebody today over at the Combine that was talking about that. That's a pretty big deal for Spencer Gallagher and that team, because now they have something that's they have a real commodity there that can work with Spencer Gallagher to make him better, and I think that's a big deal. And wonder what's going to happen with that empty ride. Don't know. So it'll be interesting. Went to the Drive for Diversity Pro Combine today. We're going to have some interviews coming later on that we did over at the Combine. Thanks to Maddie Ryan. She was over there doing some pictures and recording for us. And we'll have those when we get them all downloaded and get them situated. But it was a really want to thank the Rev Racing people and Langley Speedway, because they made it very easy to interview people and talk to them and get them to you. They brought them to you. You didn't have to go searching for them, and it was really good to talk to some of these young kids. And Macy, if you really looked at it, Macy probably fell into
set of keys.
Macy fell into the middle of the pack, basically. Not as strong as she wanted to be, not as strong as I guess some people thought she was going to be. But then again, it also goes back to the fact that they were on Goodyear tires and not the Hoosiers.
Well, and I was going to ask you, did anybody talk about it? Because they said they were going to have a new compound that they were going to bring out to the track. Did anybody talk about that?
There was a lot of people talking about it, about the Goodyear tires and how it was real slick with the Goodyears and all this. Macy was one of them. She said she just couldn't get used to the car, and then she couldn't get used to the tires on the car, and so I would say she fell kind of into the middle of the pack there. I think the fastest guy they had at the combine today was Juan Garcia, and he was with Peyton Sellers at the Hampton Heat. His team.
So he had a lot of experience there.
Yeah, you could tell the folks that have turned some laps at Langley. You can tell the ones that have done it. I mean, you got.
Now, did they post any timesheets up out there?
No, but they were calling them out. They were calling them out. You could hear the thing about when they're calling the times out. They had transponders on all the cars, but you also had Jefferson Hodges on top of one of the trucks, and he was hand timing cars. And he was pretty much telling them what the times were.
Yeah, he was coaching them too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was doing a lot of coaching. But I mean, each driver got a set of tires, and you ran your 20 laps today, and whatever you're going to run tomorrow, you have to run on your same tires.
Okay.
So then they're going to see what you can do with the same set of tires in two different sessions. It was really neat how they go about doing things out there. They were very.
Did you get to see the guys in the booth doing the judging and stuff like that?
I saw them.
Okay.
I didn't go in and talk to them, but I went in.
He did go in there.
I did go in there, and I realized. I realized I wasn't supposed to be there, so I turned around and went the other way. But when you go in there and you see Max Siegel and Brett Bodine and all these people from NASCAR, Kip Childress, all these people in there, you realize that, hey, this is not where
you don't belong.
Yeah, and nobody.
Kind of the same way you feel when you come here, right?
Sometimes, yeah. But when I looked up and they all turned around and looked at me like, okay, what do you want? And they didn't say a word. Nobody said nothing.
Really?
So I just kind of backed on out and went on about my business. But it was really interesting, though, how they go about the cars, keeping the cars straight. The cars are checked after everybody runs.
How many different cars did they have?
They had three. They had three cars.
Three? Okay.
They had three cars. As Jefferson explained it to me, you had one car for short people, one car for medium-sized people, and one car for tall people.
I kind of figured that's the only way you could really do it.
Well, part of their once they were accepted, part of their thing they had to fill out and everything for the question and answer sessions and stuff. They had to come and tell you what how their seats, what the sizes of their seats, and all this other stuff. They went through a whole lot of foam today. Fixing seats and doing all this other stuff. No matter what, they still had to put the foam in the seats, and it was. I mean, they were hard at work. Davin Seitz and Mark Green had the cars. They said all three cars were within a tenth of each other.
That's pretty good.
So they had worked on them all day yesterday to get them to that point. And
now, when they were doing the 20 laps, were they able to come in and make adjustments?
no.
Okay, so they had to figure out how to make the car handle.
What they wanted to hear after you've done your 20 laps is what's wrong with the car. Is there something wrong with it?
Listen to your critique.
Yeah, and listen to what you're saying. Then they're going to base that, and then they may. I really don't know
Maybe
how
take
it's
that
going.
information tomorrow. And
Yeah,
make some
but they'll help them out with some of that tomorrow. Maybe it'll be a little more in depth tomorrow.
Okay.
But you got 4 or 5 laps to get yourself together, and then they started counting the laps.
Okay.
And it was really interesting. You can tell in the laps how many of these guys have run Langley Speedway before. They knew exactly what to do.
Knew what they needed.
And the thing about it is, one of the things that I heard somebody harping on was getting the brakes hot, getting the brakes heated up. They said Langley Speedway, you need to have those brakes heated up. Put new tires on, get your brakes heated up. Well, there was a couple of them that did not pay attention to this. And they dove off into turn 1, and it just went a little too far for them. They didn't hit nothing, but you could tell they overdrove. But they knew what. And I think only one car brushed the wall ever so slightly. It wasn't anything big. That was the only thing they had going on, and I think he just barely hit it.
Now, when you were interviewing some of the people, which we'll probably later on in the shows to come, we'll play some of those interviews. Did you feel the pressure of those guys
Yes.
competing against each other?
Yes, they knew. They knew what they were very cognizant of everything that was going on. Even while I was talking to them, you could tell they were paying attention to what's going on out there on the track.
That's going to be a strange, competition. I mean, we're used to, like, you got people with you, and you're competing against some other team. But when you're all by yourself and you're being critiqued,
Right.
For everything from not just how fast you can, and it's not about, as we learned last week, it's not about how fast you can drive the race car. And some people think that's the only thing that matters, and it's not. How consistent you be, how smooth you are, how good you are at giving feedback, and that's a big one.
And how you adapt.
The biggest thing would be the feedback, though.
And how you adapt to something new. There were some of these people these kids, I might as well going to say it, these kids that were in these cars had never been in a late model stock car.
Oh, from the classes that they were racing.
Right.
They hadn't been. I mean, they've been in they've been in other things, but nothing like they were having to deal with there in a late model stock car. And you could tell it was. I got to adapt to this real fast. Figure out I don't have but 20 laps to figure this out.
Right.
And you could see the ones that.
But I'm sure that somebody will. I'm sure the team sort of takes that in consideration.
Oh, I know they do. Yeah,
they've got to.
They know that it's not all about how
Raw
fast
speed.
you're going, what you're doing.
It's how well you adapt
But
to the situation.
But if you could go out there and show them something with the speed and everything else, you're going to
They're
take
impress somebody. Yeah.
And Juan Garcia was that person today. I mean, and because he's been there before, he knew exactly what to do. I mean, he was fast.
Was he really?
He was down in the. I think they said he was like 16.7s, where everybody else was running in the high 17s.
Well, he was what?
Or low 17s.
Eighth or something like that in Hampton Heat there for
He ran good there.
I won't say
and
top
that was the
8
first
or
time
something.
he was behind the wheel.
And he ran at Martin. They said he ran decent at Martinsville too.
Did
Made
he?
the race and everything at Martinsville. So he was sharp. I mean, he was.
That's cool.
Yeah, some people just have a natural ability to.
But you get really surprised, and I'm not going to call names, but you get really surprised at some of the people that get in these cars. You would think they're going to show you something.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
And they didn't.
Yeah.
they didn't, because they haven't been in that situation. And it's like Jefferson said when I was talking to him this morning, the first thing this morning, he says some of these people, when they walked in the gate, they were already beat.
Right.
Because they didn't know exactly what they were getting into.
Right.
They get in a late model stock car on a track that is not that easy.
No, it's not. It's not. It's
So-
a very
Toughest
flat.
tracks around.
Yeah, it's a very flat track. You can't. It's not like a Bristol where you could just drive it in and not really break the car. Where you got to drive it in, and turn 1 and 2 is so. It's so different. It's just you got pit road that comes off. So when you come down the straightaway at Langley, you want to drive in sooner than you should, and drive down on the apron when really you don't want to. So it can really screw you up.
And you saw a lot of different lines today. I mean, some people were doing what he said, and some were middle way, and you could tell they were just reaching for everything they could find out what they could do. But it was interesting to me. I spent a lot of time down on pit road, and then I went up in the booth and did the interviews and hung up there for a little while. But it was interesting. It was really.
Are you going to go back tomorrow?
No, I'm not going back tomorrow, because they said they're going to try to get out of there as quick as they can tomorrow.
Right, so
You got people that have to be on planes at 4 and 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, so they're going to go in and try to get it done quick and get everybody out, because they fell way behind today.
Did they?
And the plan was they were going to run one session this morning, one session this afternoon, and hopefully not have to worry about tomorrow except just cleaning up some stuff.
Now, did they let all 3 cars on the track at the
No.
same time? One at a time?
One at a time.
So 20 oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, that makes her long.
22 people, so.
I wonder why they didn't. Well, I guess he didn't want to learn. I don't know.
Well, I think the second session they're going to probably let some of the cars go out together,
Okay.
but they didn't say for the first session. They wanted everybody to get used to the cars, used to the tires. I mean, it was
because I mean, you
wanna
don't
tear
think.
up the cars and nobody else get to. the practice.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't think tires make that big of a difference. I mean, the brand of tires or the compound of tires, but it makes a huge difference on how the car feels.
I talked with Macy right after she come off the track. She did her 20 laps, and we went into the tech shed and talked to Macy for a little bit. And she said the tires were a whole lot harder than what they're used to, a whole lot different. She said she just couldn't get comfortable with it.
Yeah, because it changes the. I know when we ran late models back in the day, the sidewalls of the Goodyears are much harder. And usually when we went to a lot of big tracks, that's what you ran. When you went to Martinsville or we went to Wilkesboro or Richmond, we ran Goodyears, and the sidewalls are real stiff. And that's the spring. I mean, they take that on today I don't know. Well, I mean, back then when I started getting out of it, they would have a dyno with the tire and it would bolt to the rim and stuff, and they would do how much pressure would change with air pressure and stuff. I mean, it's a spring rate.
Right.
That's why they make small air pressure adjustments on these cars today. And so I mean, you go from a soft tire that the Hoosier that they run out there is really soft, and go to a Goodyear that's really stiff. It's going to be a lot different.
She said
feel.
she was on top of the track, and she just couldn't get it. She couldn't get it. I mean, it was.
Well, that's interesting. She said that though too, and that's good feedback.
Yeah,
I mean, the racetrack the car's not in the racetrack. It's like on top.
And
she definitely knew what grooves that she needed to be in.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But
could you imagine the pressure she probably? I don't know if she really feels pressure or she's relaxed. She looks relaxed.
There was probably a lot of pressure because the expectations that people had of her.
Well,
Yes,
I mean,
there was.
I think that she's the youngest person there. But she's got many years to go back if she doesn't make it. And I really hope she does, because I think she could be a big learn, and then pushing a lot of her grandmother. I mean, her name was on a bunch of the stuff that they had printed out, and people were posting pictures of it. So, I mean, I think all those things together.
She told me when I got there first thing this morning, before she even got in the car, had her off to the side and we were talking to her. And I was very fortunate because, she's a Langley driver. She kind of came to us, kind of.
She's seen a familiar face.
Yeah, I was one of the few people, I guess, down there at the time that, I know this.
I'd hate to be at the racetrack. The only one I knew was him.
Yeah.
Well, it helped a lot that Maddie was with me, too. Okay, so let's just go there, let it go at that. But, she said, I'm extremely nervous. I'm extremely, and I'm sure it had to. Oh, yeah. I've never been in that situation, so I mean.
Just the age difference of being 14 compared to probably what's the next youngest person there? Probably had to be 16 to 18.
16.
What was the oldest? Is it
24?
24. Okay.
And that's a huge. I know it's only a couple of years, but that's still a big age gap in her age group.
A lot of years of experience
between
she had.
Yeah, between those 2 years. There's a lot of not just racing experience, but just life experience that they have, that they're so ahead of the curve from her. But I mean, just to be accepted to go at her age is a big deal.
And the ones that were already there as part of the program this year, Colin Cabray, Jay Beasley, Genzie Rustin, Natalie, and Dylan Smith, they did not have to drive today. They were because, Dylan is running late models, but they already know. They said they already know what they're at and where they are. Right. So there was no need to take the time to run them. Plus, Jay and Colin and all them are running K&N cars. They're not running late models. Right. They're already beyond that point. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then Nicole Behar made the comment that she's running K&N West, right? But yet they made her run the late model today. And she's not been in a late model. She said, "I've been trying to go back and run a few late model races and everything." She said, "But I haven't really been in a late model in a while." So
this might have been a good opportunity for them.
So, it was
a little bit more practice.
So she's got that, but I mean, she's already she's 7th in points in the K&N West.
Is she? Okay.
So there she is trying to get in. I mean, there's a lot of different stories that was out there this morning. It was really cool that I talked to Jay Beasley for a while, and he made the comment.
He's back healthy.
He's back healthy. He's everybody that was in the program last year had to be resubmitted to go back this year. He and two of them, him, Devin Amos, and Dylan Smith, pretty much told me that if they don't make the Rev Racing program this year, they're done. They don't have anything to go to right now. So they're really banking on the fact that they're going to try to get back with Rev Racing again next year. Whether it happens or not, you don't know.
That's a lot of pressure.
And then Hannah Newhouse, she's been there. This is her 4th year trying to get into the program. And I asked her, I said, well, does that give you a leg up? She said, no, don't give me a leg up. She said, I know the routine, I know what I'm supposed to do. She said, I get better every time, but it don't give you a leg up.
Sometimes
it's probably hard to put a number on it, but how many slots are available? I mean, I know it's going to be based on the skill. Maybe we've got 6 people that.
Well, I think they run. Is it 4 late models?
The 4 late models is
and
what they
2
had.
K&N.
No,
3 K&N.
3 K&N cars.
So that's 7 rides.
Okay.
But I think they keep a few more, and I think the late models, I think they sort of rotate a little bit in and out. I think, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, because Dylan told me that he ran late models at Hickory for a long time, and then he got sick, and then he had something to do with his mom or somebody in the family. He had to go back and take care of for a little while, so they put somebody else in the car, and then when he came back, they took him out, put him back in the car. So they keep somebody, I guess, to do that.
Mm-hmm. And I also say too, a lot of people assume that once you get signed by Rev Racing, that you get a paycheck and you just get a free reign, and that's not how it works. Mm-hmm. You get a ride, and that's essentially what you get. You get a lot, and it's an honor to get accepted. I mean, that's a big deal.
And they do promote you very well. They got a marketing group that does promote you.
Yeah, and they do everything in the world to further your career. But you do not get a salary.
Nope.
You don't get free room and board somewhere. You got to move down to Charlotte. I don't know if you work. I think it's probably a benefit if you go down there and stay and work in the shop. Now, you probably could get a job working in the shop, but you don't get paid to drive the race car. So it's not like you just, hey, my time of working and paying for my own ride is done. It's not. It's just begun.
That's it. You have to do your own stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things that you are expected to do along the way. And, I mean, they point blank put that out there this morning. We're here. We're going to help you. But
it's up to you.
When we get out of here and you come be a part of this program, there's a lot that you're going to be doing yourself. You're going to have to do. We'll have the car for you, but you've got to do everything else.
Yeah, you got to work for it. It's not just an open checkbook and a free ride. Mm-hmm. And somebody's funding it. I mean, I don't really know. I'm sure NASCAR funds a lot of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because there's not no big sponsors on a lot of those cars. And I see Max Siegel's I guess he has a business, so I see it on there a lot.
Yeah.
On some of the K&N cars, but it's a neat program. It's a great program, and it seems to be working well.
Mike Helton and Steve O'Donnell were supposed to be there today, and neither one of them showed up. They had something going on somewhere else, and they couldn't be there today. So the decisions are going to be delayed in a little while until everybody sits down.
Okay.
Until everybody gets a chance to sit down. Brett Bodine was there. Of course, I said Kip Childress and all those other people were there doing the critiquing of everybody. Max Siegel, I did speak to him. I got to speak to him, but I mean, I got his number, so we're gonna try to get him on the show. But hey, I mean, there was a lot of people there today that had some clout with them. So
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, all that stuff I've seen them doing over at Hampton University, and that's neat for the school too. That's a great reality, real program that they could do.
And they brought a lot of those people to the track today
from the university.
From the university that are in their I guess media
marketing
people in media marketing or whatever. And they set up different camera stations inside the infield, and it was up to them to go get the driver, bring them over there, do an interview.
Okay.
Whereas they brought them to me,
right?
Because I'm not trying to get a grade. But
that's a great tool, a learning experience for them.
Yeah.
That's real
teach
action.
them how to do it. Yeah.
that's the real thing what you're going to have to run into, and it's kind of convenient that the university over there is a minority type school, so it fits their program very well.
And it seems like everything just meshes together real well. And one of the things that Max Siegel was telling the folks up there today that I was listening to was that out of all the places they could have gone to with this combine, Langley puts on the best. They fit better at Langley than any other place they were going to go to.
Yeah, especially with I think the Hampton University being there, and the city I'm sure gets
everybody gets behind it.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, the mayor was walking around there today,
really? Yeah.
So I mean,
that's a big deal.
They're definitely a big supporter of Langley.
Mm-hmm.
So there was people there that it was a big deal for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. All right, we'll get away from that for a minute and go to the green-white checker. Did you see about the green-white checker today?
I didn't read it, but I said they were going to reduce the number of
only at Talladega and Daytona.
Oh, okay.
Only at Talladega and Daytona.
They're going to reduce.
Does that start this weekend?
Start this weekend.
Okay.
One green-white checker, and that's it.
I'll be.
They say they're going to do that because they don't want you do it three times as many cars can get tore up.
Right.
I don't quite agree with it, but I understand, and I could see their point.
It's only one green-white checker to take out the whole field.
That's exactly right.
I think I don't know if it was last year or what, but they tore a bunch of stuff up, and there won't daggone many there at the end.
Yeah. And big news out of Richard Childress today that Gil Martin has now been named Director of Competition at RCR for the Xfinity Series.
I thought that's what he already was.
No, he was in research and development.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I
So
thought
now
he was that. And
now he oversees the whole Xfinity.
one time he was overseeing the Dillon boys.
Yeah, but and one of the things I heard today was really interesting. He is one of very few crew chiefs in the sport that has won a truck race, an Xfinity race, and a Cup race as a crew chief.
Who's he won a truck race with?
He won a truck race with, was it one of the Dillon boys?
Could have been.
I think it was Austin at one point. Or somebody. He won a truck race with one of them, with somebody there. And they were making a big deal out of that today, but Richard Childress promoted him. So that's all the news I got. I don't know if you got anything else.
No, I mean, other than talking about the race, and I still can't get over the 20 to 22. I mean, that's going to be talked through the weekend, and
Hallmark's definitely disappointed.
Huh?
Hallmark's definitely disappointed.
Yeah.
Because there will not be no cards sent out from them two.
No, and rightfully so. I don't think either one of them owe the other one.
And I'm sure Matt Kenseth has already said he wants his dues back from being in the fan club because I don't think he's going to be there.
But this weekend, we know Joey Logano is moving on to the next round. Denny Hamlin has to finish 14th or better if he leads no laps, 15th if he leads a lap, and he will advance. Kurt Busch, and I got to give it to Kurt because he has kind of stepped up a little bit with the chase going on. He's got to finish 8th, 9th if he leads a lap.
And got a new sponsor.
Yeah, Monster, I guess, is coming on board. And I guess there was a little bit of talk between that and the 5 Hour Energy was kind of a little bit of a conflict, but they said that's not going to be a big deal over at Stewart-Haas, which is kind of surprising and good. I'm glad. Carl Edwards, he's got to finish 7th, 8th if he leads a lap. Kevin Harvick's got to finish 3rd, 4th if he leads a lap. Jeff Gordon needs to finish 2nd or 3rd if he leads a lap. Truex has to finish 2nd or 3rd if he leads a lap. And the rest of them, man, you got Kyle Busch. Ryan Newman, he kind of did the same thing he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
If he survives this and somebody gets kind of tore up, Junior. Now, Junior probably has a realistic chance.
He probably does have a realistic chance
of advancing
and winning
with the win. But then that's going to bump somebody out. It's going to be really interesting who advances, who doesn't. Who do you think's out? Who do you think's in?
Out. Kyle Busch is out.
Wait a minute, that's who I picked to win.
Kyle Busch is out. I'm pretty much thinking Matt Kenseth is done.
Yeah.
After this race. He's definitely going to be gone. Now you're looking at Truex, Keselowski, and Gordon. I'm going to say Earnhardt has a chance to win. So
yeah,
and if he wins, he's automatically in anyway. So you're looking at Gordon, Keselowski, and Truex. My opinion. If they don't show something, it's going to be Jeff Gordon.
9, 9,
Yeah.
8, 6, 7, 9. Say answer or ignore.
All right, joining us now on the show is Joey Gase. How you doing, Joey?
Good. How about yourself?
We're doing great here. How's everything in your neck of the woods?
It's been going good. Going good. Kind of trying to enjoy these 2 off weeks and get everything all ready and prepared for Texas here in a few weeks.
Now, when you go to Texas, you're going to be pretty busy over there at Texas. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I'm going to be very busy down there. I'll be doing the Xfinity Series race and the Cup Series race with Go Green Racing. And we'll have Donate Life Texas with us and Zach Stoddard on the Cup car. So it's going to be a very fun and exciting weekend for us.
Do you think? I mean, I don't know if you've done. Have you done that any this year? Run both races?
Yeah. Yep, I did that.
All right, but how is it when you run the Cup race and you run the Xfinity race? How close are the 2 cars that it could help you in either situation?
They're quite a bit different, but with them taking away horsepower this year from the Cup cars, they're a little bit of the same now. And the biggest thing is just being able to be on the track that much more, and then also seeing what the track does over time, if it frees up or tightens up, and it kind of lets you have a little bit better guess over the other guys on what to expect from the track.
What's it like to drive for Jimmy Means? Now he's been around for years and years and years, and I've always liked Jimmy Means. How is it to drive for him? What kind of guy is he to drive for?
Oh, it's good. Like you said, he's been around forever, and so many people know Jimmy, and there's so many stories, and he knows how to fix things, and there's not too many problems he doesn't still have to solve, and it's always a riot too to be able to hear all those stories, and it's pretty amazing what we can do with such little funding. We make so much out of so little. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy, it is neat to see him. I seen a little special about you on I don't remember now, where Jimmy Means is in there building an engine, and I mean, he works 7 days a week on this thing. And a lot of people don't realize how much work is involved in these things, but it's neat to see how involved he is. He's still in the sport, at his age, and still loves it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a very big group of guys, but all of our guys do a ton of work, and we, like you said, work 7 days a week, and it's not easy being able to run three weekends out of the year and being able to cars to keep on going and keep them in shape. So it's a big group effort, and it's not like some of those teams where they have a couple hundred guys. We have maybe 7 guys and a lot of volunteers that help. So it's that, especially if it was on NASCAR race hub, and they did a great job in showing how much work really does go into it.
No, so Joey, how did you get started into racing? What brought you into racing?
My dad raced before I did, just at the local level in Iowa at Hawkeye Down. He raced late models and modifieds and a couple other things, and I was always around it and always loved it. And I started racing go-karts competitively when I was 8 years old, and started racing my dad's car when I turned 14.
So who's the better driver?
I would have to say I am.
Okay,
I've never gotten a chance to race against
that
my
would
dad
have
on the track, and I would love to though sometime. And I actually got his seat mounted up in the modified which he used to drive, and the first car I ever drove. And for some reason he won't go back out there, but I've been begging him to.
I think that would be fun though. I mean, that'd be pretty cool to race your father and beat him, obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your association with Donate to Life and all that. Tell us a little bit about that and how you got into that program.
My mom passed away in April 2011 of sudden brain aneurysm. And when that happened, the doctors asked us if she'd like to be an organized and tissue donor. And it wasn't really something we ever really talked about a lot. And I don't think a lot of people really think of, because when you go to the DNV, it's just a quick yes or no, no question. And we said yes to it. My mom, she's a very loving and caring person, and we knew if she can no longer continue her life, she would want to do whatever she could to help others continue theirs. And later we found out she was able to help save and improve the lives of 56 people, which was amazing to us. And ever since then, I wanted to do something to honor my mom and all donors and even everyone who's on the wait list and recipients, because it's not easy for any side, and raise awareness for it. So hopefully if anyone will ever be in the same shoes me and my family was in, hopefully they'll be more prepared for it and taught to their loved ones as a family and a group, and just make that decision before anything ever happens. And it's nothing anyone ever wants to think of, but it's something people have to, unfortunately. And I really encourage people to go look up Donate Life online and find out all the stats. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, unfortunately. And like I said, the only thing people normally only hear about it from TV shows, and most of the stuff they see or hear on there is false, or just going to the DMV when everyone's already kind of cranky and grumpy because they've been waiting in line all day.
Yeah. You know, one of the things, you do a great job promoting this. I've heard a lot of things about the things you've done as far as promoting it. But one of the things that it kind of got to me when I was doing some research on you and research on this, my aunt just recently had a double lung transplant. And,
wow, okay.
And it came through part of this Donate Life thing. It came, you know, that was one of the things they looked into, and it came through their being on a list. And luckily she made it. I mean, it was almost like a day or two away she wouldn't have made it. And she got the double lung transplant, and I really appreciate the fact that, you know, you do such a good job bringing this up and bringing it to the people to let them know about it.
Well, thank you. It's something definitely that's close to my heart, and I've met so many people that I would never known they were affected by it until I was doing all this stuff. And it really means a lot to me, and a lot of people don't realize how many people really affect. Right now there's over 120,000 people on the wait list nationwide, and unfortunately that number is growing instead of shrinking, so we need to try to help fix that.
All right, well, we're gonna get back to the racing thing. What are your plans for next year? Do you have everything set in stone or anything going on for next year?
Right now, I believe I'm going to be going back with Jimmy and the guys, and I think we're going to really work on improving our program like we have every year. We've been making steps and going in the right direction. When we first started over there, we're mainly a starter park team, and we're just working on making the races every week. And now we're actually racing for the points the last 2 years, and we got fifth in Talladega, and really going to run a lot better and more consistently up there with the guys. And we've been making big improvements, and I think next year we're going to make even a bigger stride and hopefully really impress a lot of people.
Well, good. How did you get hooked up with Jimmy Means?
I got hooked up with Jimmy through one of my friends in the Midwest that raced super late miles, and he drove for Jimmy, and that was Tim Schindel, and he gave me Jimmy's number, and I was looking for a ride in Iowa, where my home track and where I'm from, and Jimmy put me in the car, and we've kind of been together ever since.
That's a pretty neat deal, because I know Jimmy is, I think Scott and I have talked about it before, how Jimmy and the relationship he has with Dale Jr. and everything. I know he had one time he got one of Dale Jr.'s backup cars at Daytona because they crashed the other one. So I know he's a good guy to have around.
He knows everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, there's nobody that doesn't know him and is not willing to help him out. And it's just a great, and it reminds me, and it's kind of, NASCAR's gotten so big and it's such a business sport now. And you go over to Jimmy, and it's kind of like the old days of racing late models at your local short track. Everybody kind of pitches in, and you just work really hard, and it's very gratifying, and it's I want to say the good old boy type fun. And I think everybody respects him for what he does, and I respect you guys for both of you for what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, we can stretch our budget and do a lot with little, and like you saw probably on the race up special, we reuse a lot of parts that the guys wouldn't use, but we rebuild them and make them work.
Now, tell us a little bit about the deal you got with Go Green for Texas. I mean, that's a big deal for you too.
Yeah, it is a big deal. Anytime you can get in the Cup car is a big deal, and it's going to be a really big weekend down there. We're teaming up with Donate Life Texas, and first time they've ever worked with us, and we're going all out. Like I said, there will be a primary sponsor on that Xfinity car, and our associate sponsor on the Cup car, and Zach Products will be the primary. And it's a big deal. It's only, I think, there's 2 races left after that race and down in Texas, and it's a big deal. There's a lot of pressure, and everyone remembers what happened down there last year in Texas after the race between Gordon and Keselowski, so I'm sure it's going to be a packed house, and
Forgot all
I'm really
about
looking
that.
forward to it.
Hey, Joey, you didn't have to bring that up because my son was involved in that.
But he didn't get suspended, so it was all good.
He didn't. Luckily, he didn't get suspended, but he was over there in the middle of it. So you didn't have to bring that one up.
Well, he didn't get suspended, so that's good.
But there was a whole lot of them that did. So yeah, it's gonna be a big thing, and with the chase and everything going on. Let me ask you a question about racing in the Cup Series against. At that time, it'll be down to 8 people in the chase. How do you race the chasers as compared to everybody else?
I think you still race them hard, but you just try to make sure you don't do anything stupid or anything to mess up their deal in the chase. There's a ton of pressure on those guys, and everyone's watching. So you just want to make sure you don't do anything bad to dictate them, anything like that in that way.
Well, let's hope everything goes good. I hope you have a good race down in Texas, both the Xfinity and the Cup car. So, and we appreciate you being with us tonight. We really do, and continue to do such a great thing with the Donate Life thing. It's really good.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on.
And man, we're gonna get you back on here again real soon. So we'll talk to you again.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Thank you.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Joey.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Man, that's crazy. Did you say 56 people? I mean, that's huge. That's big, And I would recommend everybody to go check on that box. I know I haven't and should because.
I have for years.
Have you? And good for you. I mean, I think that's a great deal. Like I said, your aunt, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but actually the buildings right over here is LifeNet, and they have some buildings back here. They are the biggest company that actually handles all of those organs that are moved and moves them, and there's a big refrigeration unit back here. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They handle, it's like 90% of all organs that are being moved throughout the United States of organizing all that stuff. I think you sign up with LifeNet and they help with the information and who you are and that type of stuff. But LifeNet, which is right over here, they do 90%. I know in the U.S., I don't know about in the country, but they handle all the logistics and getting it where and so forth. And they also make tools and stuff for helping a lot of those operations. So we're very fortunate that we live in a great area, the whole Hampton Roads area, from racing to professional athletes and big organizations.
And you look at this area too, also with the hospitals that you have in this area that have moved in that direction to help.
2, 3, 1, 2, 6, 5, 9.
Joining us now on the show is Mr. John Vick. How you doing, Mr. Vick?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We've heard a lot of things about you from our good friend Lenny Baticki down at Charlotte. He said we got to get you on the show so you can tell us a little bit about East Carolina Speedway.
Now, Lenny Baticki, he is a great guy. He's done a lot to really help East Carolina Motor Speedway. In fact, he came down and joined us for our open night this past season.
Oh, okay, cool. So he's a great guy. He's helped us out with a lot of things too, and been a part of what we're doing. So we really enjoy having him around. Now, give us a little update on East Carolina. I know you got some a big race coming up, and tell us a little bit about all that.
Well, East Carolina Motor Speedway is a 38-mile asphalt track in Robertsonville, North Carolina. It's about 20 minutes outside of Greenville. And we're a NASCAR Women All-American track. But we've finished up with our NASCAR season, and we're going to be running the second annual Ronnie Barnett Memorial Race.
Oh, okay.
And Ronnie Barnett, for people who may not know him, he was one of the best engine builders out there. He's worked with cars and drivers like Jeff and Ward Burton, Todd Bodine, Stacey Compton, Casey Atwood, Kenny Francis. He was just a really, really good engine builder. In fact, there's still some of his engines out today.
Oh, okay.
And he retired. He sold his engine shop. You know, I say that Ronnie Barnett actually used to run NHRA and IHRA. And he went from drag racing to building high performance engines. And he retired back in 1993, and he retired in 2004, and he moved to the beach. And he came out of retirement to help Wayne Perry when he decided to take over and reopen East Carolina Motor Speedway. And he helped us out as our tech guy. He died suddenly in 2013, and we decided we wanted to honor Ronnie Barnett by running the biggest race we've ever run at East Carolina Motor Speedway, with a $6,000 full late model stock car. The reason I say full late model stock car is ourselves and Southern National this past year kind of combined our engines between our limited late models and our late model stock. But the race we're running on November the 7th is a full late model stock car engine by NASCAR rules. So our game plan is to light up Robertsonville and Greenville, North Carolina.
Now, have you got a good response as far as the drivers coming to race there? I've heard a couple people say they were interested in going down there for that race. Have you got a lot?
I think we have, if I'm not mistaken, we already have 23 registered drivers. I think it's going to be a phenomenal response. You know, our initial goal was to have 30 drivers, and I think we're going to actually surpass that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, how many will you start?
Our plan is to start 30 late model stock.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I believe that's what we're going to be able to do. And then also our supporting class is going to be youth cars. And the bandoleros. We're trying to get the families involved. You know, we got to look out for our bando guys because that's our future race.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So give us a little history on East Carolina Speedway. I went to East Carolina, I guess it's
100 years ago.
15, 20 years ago.
Buckhorn racing.
And
East Carolina's actually celebrating their 25th anniversary.
So
Gerald Whitehurst and Derwin Allen, they built the track. It was 1991, if I'm not mistaken. And at the time, I believe it was the first paid circle track in the area. And it ran for many years, really, really strong. With other tracks, Mr. Whitehurst got out of it, and they actually sold to Wayne Perry. Wayne wasn't interested in really operating the track at the time. He was leasing it out. And it just really, it wasn't going anywhere, and he wasn't really doing anything with it. But, Wayne's son Chris Perry used to race late model stock cars.
Right, yeah.
So
Okay.
in 2013, Mr. Perry decided, okay, I'm tired of everybody else running, but I'm going to take it over. And basically, I guess he must have been sitting in bed one night and said, I'm going to take it over and spend a lot of money. But he took it over. He brought NASCAR in and got us part of the NASCAR Wheeling All-American Series. And, 2013, they operated, I guess, as an outlaw track. 2014, we brought in that NASCAR. And it really started picking up at the end of 2014. And then this past year, we've just had a phenomenal year. We've had good car counts. We've had a huge fan. And just about all of our divisions, it's been some of the best racing I've ever been in short track racing.
Now, what kind of divisions do y'all race there? Other than the late model, we know that, but I'm talking about what are the other divisions?
Well, we race the late model stocks, obviously. We race street stock. We race a few cars. We race mini stock. And this past year, we've added the Bandoleros and the Legend car. We ran Bandoleros every night. We ran, I think, a total of 7 times with the Legend. That's something that's really taken off at our track. We've also added in the Southern Ground Pounders this past week. And I don't know if anybody's really familiar with the Ground Pounders, but they're the vintage race car.
I've heard of them, yeah.
They put on a phenomenal show. A phenomenal show. And they bring a lot of support when they come. And I also want to mention, we just signed a deal that in 2016 in April, the Pass Series is coming to East Carolina.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So they're going to be bringing their super late models and the late model. And we'll probably add a couple of our sporting divisions in that.
Mm-hmm.
But, East Carolina, it's on the rise. If it's been 5 years since somebody's seen East Carolina Motor Speedway, it does not look the same.
Well, it's been a long time since I've seen it then, so I'm glad to see it's come back. Did y'all ever run any modifieds down there?
I think so.
Yeah, we this past year we actually ran the open wheel modified. Unfortunately, we only got 3 races in because I think the open wheel modifieds, and when I call them the open wheel, we call them the Langley modified.
They might, yeah.
We call them that because we put them on a limited schedule because Langley and South Boston were running the modified, and we didn't want to step on anybody's toes. Langley pretty much, I guess, owned that division, and we only wanted to run them when Langley wasn't running and when South Boston wasn't running. We just didn't feel like we had a right to put them on our schedule. We wanted to make sure it didn't conflict with anything else in any other track. But those open wheel modifieds look really good going around East Carolina Motor Speedway. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, you're talking about 24-degree banking, 10 degrees on the straightaway, 24 in the turn. East Carolina is a bear of a track. It is a driver's track, and it's a very fun racetrack to watch a race. There's action nonstop. You don't get any rail driving. They're wheeling those cars around that track nonstop the entire race.
Now, in your division champions or your all your champions this year, who was your late model champion this year?
Jeff Shiflett. Actually, this is his second year in a row. He beat Lewis White by I believe it was 8 points. It may have been 6 points. It went down to the final race and the final lap.
Dang.
Yeah, I've heard of Jeff. I think I've seen him race a couple times, but not positive.
Is that the same one that runs at Langley?
Yeah, he runs at Langley a little bit. In fact, his brother runs at Langley a little bit.
Okay.
Jeff's one of those. He's a big guy, and he's one of those guys that's just like a big teddy bear. So if you ever meet Jeff, you're gonna never forget Jeff.
That's right.
He's a great guy. He's got a great team behind him. He won several races this year. I didn't think he could really improve from him winning last year, but he did improve. He not only won the championship this year, he won it with winning a bunch of races. he really he put in a lot of effort as well as his entire team. I mean, it was a great year for late model stock at East Carolina Motor Speedway.
So, John,
we had a bunch of winners this year.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get involved in the racing? Did you drive at some point, or you always done the promoting side of it?
No, sir. I've actually come from, to be honest, the music industry. I've been in radio marketing. I've worked with artists throughout the years out of Nashville, and that's where I was. I'm originally from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and moved out to Nashville. But I'd always known the Perry family, and I heard about the track, and I wanted to get back, and I wanted to take a shot and see what I could do with it. And I fell in love with short track racing. I fell in love with the fans, the drivers. Anything that you can get a passion for in life, you're going to be successful at. Mm-hmm. And the Perry family has that passion, as do I. I mean, it's just, you can't get any better family fun than local short track racing on a Saturday night.
No, and you can't beat it for the amount of entertainment you get, for what it costs for a ticket. I mean, for 2 or 3 hours minimum of entertainment, you can't beat it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I have 3 kids. I have a wife and 3 kids. And it costs me to carry my kids to the movies on a Friday night or a Saturday night or, whenever we get it, almost $100 just to go to the movies for 2 hours. I can go to a racetrack and spend half that and have a lot better time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. And you don't just get popcorn and a $10 thing of a candy bar. You can get some decent food.
To be honest with you, I think the way they got down in some of those movies, it's almost as flat at the racetrack as it is at the theater.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Now you say you run the mini stock division there. How is your car count with the mini stocks? A lot of racetracks.
Are you coming out of retirement?
Coming out of retirement.
These guys give me a hard time, John. I'm really thinking about replacing them. But
that's all right. That's all right. I tell you, our mini stock division, it actually kind of started falling last year, where our late models and all of our other divisions moved up. Our mini stocks went down. So we made a concerted effort, about 3 races deep this year, to really do a big push to get the mini stocks back. So about halfway through the season, we started adding mini stocks, more cars coming to the track to race. And by the end of the season, I mean, we were getting, anywhere from around 10 mini stocks, which from where we were running 5, that was a big jump.
Right.
The best part about the mini stocks is it was just great racing. I mean, it was nonstop action. Everybody gets along to an extent. But it was just really good racing. So we made a concerted effort to make sure we could build that fast and kind of save that fast. Because there's not a lot of mini stocks out there, at least not in this area.
No, there's not. And a lot of tracks have completely done away with them.
Yeah.
They've gone to the U cars, which up in this area is about the same thing in a way. But, the mini stock class was a big deal at a lot of tracks at one time.
Well, that's where everybody got their start.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, our U-car division is much larger. I mean, we averaged 15 to 20 U-cars all year long.
It's a good field.
So we hear a lot of talk about the Celicas, and we run Celicas at our track in U-car division. It's great race, but I tell you, I mean, the Celicas really were not the dominant cars. Just the Sigmund and the Honda won our points championship in the U-car division. It was really a mixed bag. I think everybody who didn't have a Celica last year learned how to compete with Celicas this year. And the mini stock, the reason we wanted to really keep the mini stock is because we had 4 drivers that were there every single week. They would practice between, and they've been there for years. And it's hard to tell a man who's there every single week, first one to the gate. A lot of times the last one to leave, that he can't race anymore.
Yeah, that's.
We did everything we could to make sure we took care of those drivers. And from those 4 drivers, we went from running those 4 to running 10 and sometimes 12 of but it averaged about. And there's some good mini stock drivers out there. We started getting some that traveled a lot. We brought some down from Hickory Ace Speedway. It came down. It was just great racing. You have to see it to understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a good brand of racing. I mean, it's a lot of fun. That's how I started, but it's
And stopped.
It's a big thing around here at one time with the mini stocks, and I love to see those guys race.
You know, at one time they were running 25 mini stocks when East Carolina first opened back 25 years ago.
Okay.
That's what everybody had.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the dominant division at all the tracks for, I think, 10 or 15 years. And granted, I wasn't around during that time, but, you know, I make a special point to get to know the fans and to get to know the drivers. And you've got second and third generation drivers out there in East Carolina. So you hear all the great stories from the past. You find out who you got to, you know, walk on tiptoes around after a race. And, who's going to be throwing Gatorade or something else at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Who to go put a microphone in front of and who not to go put a microphone in front of.
Okay.
The bottom line is all of our guys, because we have got to know them, are just great people to work with, great people to race with on a Saturday night, and they built their fan base, and of course, I mean, they've made my job 100 times easier. Because they take the time to participate.
All right, for 2016, what are some of the new things that you got planned for 2016 other than the past series coming?
Well, I'm hoping, the Southern Ground Pounders, of course, will be back. There's a couple of things we got going that I cannot talk about. We're going to be adding some more legend races. We're probably going to be looking at a couple of bigger races throughout the season. And I think there's something with our point championship that's going to be a little different next year. And I wasn't so scared the wrong person would be listening to me right now, such as my boss, I can tell you, but it's just one of those things we're going to have to wait for.
All right. Well, when you get all that together, we'll call you back and you can tell us all about it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely, I would love to. And guys, thank you very much. You know, I really appreciate you, and I appreciate everything you're doing for short track racing.
We appreciate you taking time tonight to be with us, and once again, tell us a little bit of when that race, the big race, is, and so we can kind of publicize it for you.
November the 7th. We're going to be practicing all day on Friday, November the 6th. But the green flag will wave at 3 o'clock on November the 7th for the second annual Ronnie Barnett Memorial Race, presented by Bojangles and Martin County Travel and Tourism.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to come down and see East Carolina Speedway.
My friends, y'all have an open invitation, and I will personally make sure you don't have to worry about any trouble with tickets or anything like that.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. And we'll be in touch with you, and good luck to you. And we'll get you back on real soon when you get everything squared away for next year.
Sounds like a plan. Guys, y'all have a great evening, and have a great rest of the week.
You too. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.
Just think, he could have had a great season. One lap every race and still finish top 10.
Successful. Yeah.
Top 10.
Y'all just not going to let that die, are you?
Never. Not until we die.
But all joking aside, when he said there was 20, I loved the mini stock.
Yes.
I do too.
Back in the day. And it was a blast. And to see that many cars go back to the track again, I thought it was gone. So I'm tipping to do it again.
But you know what? It seems like since Jeff Gordon's sort of come along, used to everybody would run mini stock. They'd become a mini stock champion. Then they'd move up to street stock, and they'd become a street stock champion or compete for a championship. Then they'd move up to grand stock, and then they'd go to late model. Well, now they go straight to late model.
Yeah.
I mean, the 19
Bandolero
kid. Right.
Yeah, to a late model.
To late model. I mean, you look at Maddie Ryan. She's gone from Bando to the Pro 6, which is kind of a grand stockish car. Yeah. And then taking a step to late model. They're just going, and they got to be so young. They're just going so fast. They're skipping all these other classes that we used to support and people would drive and
Well,
learn
the
a little
hard
more.
thing with the mini stock division back in the day.
The brake pedal.
That wasn't the hard thing, man. His work.
I don't even remember. I don't even remember where I was going with that conversation.
The hard thing about a mini stock.
The hard thing with the mini stock division back in those days was the parts and pieces to put mini stocks together. A lot of people were having a hard time getting them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember
And
that.
it was.
And what did you race?
I raced a Vega.
Okay, because I remember the Pintos were in Louisville was the big ones.
Yeah,
You know?
at Southampton, when we had the dirt and we had the mini stocks on dirt, it was the Pintos, the Vegas, and we didn't have any outside. I mean, the Toyotas or anything like that. We had none of
We
those.
had one guy, the Volkswagen Rabbit, and he actually
Oh,
did
yeah.
pretty good front wheel drive,
Yeah.
which was odd to see that
Well,
going around the track.
And then we shut down we didn't shut down. They went to asphalt.
Okay.
So everybody had to change things to go to mini stocks in. Well, the mini stocks from Langley came to Southampton to do a race when they were doing the switchover. And this guy comes out with this Honda or whatever it was, and he just flat killed everybody out there. And that next thing I know, it was gone. The mini stock division was gone.
Now,
Well, it
what
kind
do
of
they-
became U-Car.
Yeah.
What do they race today in the mini stock? I wonder. What is the car that they use at choice?
I don't know. I'm kind of
It's
curious
not,
of that.
if you look at a mini stock today,
Right.
and look at a mini what we called a mini stock back then,
Right.
they're not the same.
Okay.
Are they front-wheel drive, or is it still,
Well,
Some tracks don't allow.
or is it
front-wheel
a
drive.
small late model?
It's really basically a small late model.
Because there was a few people that had those back at Southside. I forget who it was. I mean, essentially, it was a late model, a shrinked-up arena car from,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
really?
Yeah.
Dixieland lets them put aftermarket bodies on mini stocks,
Do they really?
and we would go to Dixieland, and we'd come up against a car that looked like a late model,
Right.
and it was really,
It was just a slam tube chassis, coilovers, and a four-cylinder motor.
So it became everybody was doing a different thing, and then you couldn't get parts, and then it just faded away. So
And now all the influx of U-Car and parts
Yeah.
and those things are come, in
Well,
front-wheel
I
drive.
guess that's
and stuff.
what's hurting, like the demolition derbies and stuff like that, because they don't build the big heavy cars
yeah.
anymore for that.
Right.
You know.
All right, before we go,
All right. Well, I just seen they're talking. It said NASCAR teams are working on charters for owners, possibly similar smaller fields. I've just as the drivers sweat out this elimination for the chase. So I guess there's some possible talking of some changing going on. Well, used to there was 36 cars in the field, and then I forget when and it used to be 36 cars at Martinsville, Bristol, Rockingham? No. North Wilkesboro, I think, had 36 cars, and everywhere else ran 43 cars. And then they just got so many cars showing up, they just said, hey, we're going to start 43 everywhere. So it looks like they may be going back to something like that.
so yeah, I don't know what the
And let's give a shout out to our guest last week, Ryan Ellis, is put a deal together for to be running in a 33 car at Phoenix in a Cup car. It'd be his first Cup start for Circle
Sport Racing.
Sport Racing with Joe Falk and those guys out there. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, that's a big deal for him, and he did tell us he was working on something, but he couldn't say anything. I guess we found out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's
Yeah.
that's a big deal too.
Yeah, congratulations to him. And who finished last? Who had who?
Let's see. The guy that finished last was Scott.
I did at 15th. Dang.
Well,
Yeah.
the good thing about it is you've been consistent. You know?
Yeah, if we were scoring
Dang.
points, but Clayton, our resident fan watcher or whatever, you actually
Well, that's a tongue tie.
whatever you
Fan
want to call. He
Our loyal fan.
our loyal fan
Yes.
finished
Fan
second.
watcher, Clayton.
He
Thank you,
actually
buddy.
won. He
Five.
actually won.
Clayton, you won this week, finally, buddy.
But between the three of us, I don't want to say.
But you didn't win.
No, I didn't win, but I beat you guys. That's all that matters.
I thought he was going to take some the joy out of Clayton's win.
Oh, I'm congratulating Clayton. Congratulations, Hamlin finished second. I mean, I had Carl Edwards. He finished 8th. Joe had Brad Kay. He finished 10th. 9th. He finished 9th, right? Mm-hmm. He finished 9th. They got it listed as 10th on the thing. But anyway, he finished 9th because he just beat Jeff Gordon to the line.
Yep, they were fighting for it.
And Kevin Harvick, well, we all know what happened to him, and that was Scott's pick. So we're gonna do it again.
I go first
again this week. You go first. And I don't want to say anything bad, but I think I've got 5 wins this year.
This is not. You didn't win.
No, among us. Among us.
That's a second place finish.
That don't make no difference between us. We won. I won. That's all that matters. And as long as I keep that streak going, I'm good.
You got to remember, he calls start and park racing. Okay, so
Joe,
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm going with 88.
Some reason I had to figure that's the way that was going.
Oh God,
he needs the luck.
yes.
You know, and honestly, I'm a little disappointed on how well he hasn't run throughout the chase.
Yeah.
I thought he would have been a bit better. I mean, it's tough to gain points when everybody's running in the top 10 or top 15. But I certainly think the 20's out. Unless a miracle comes up and he wins.
The 20's out, I think, and I don't think it's...
I think it's going to be interesting to see if Junior can pull it out. I hope he does, so he can advance. Honestly, I think, damn, I'm tongue-tied here. That Hendrick Motorsports, their best shot is the 24, and they haven't won all year.
I know.
And I feel some momentum with those guys.
With who?
The 24 guys. I feel like they're gaining a look. You know, they're luck. I don't think they're running that well, but they're finishing better, and that gives you some confidence.
When I talked to my resident 24 pit crew member, you know, they're getting good finishes. They're getting back and getting in a decent finish. But they're still under everything else. They just they cannot get to that domination. This might be the week, you know.
You know, hopefully it is. I hope it's a place he runs well at.
So I'd like to see him do well too.
I think he can have a good top 5 finish, and he could have a win.
It would be nice to see him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see him out of the chase.
I hate to see him not win in his last season.
Yeah, I think that would be.
But I hope he has a good run this weekend so he can go to Martinsville with some confidence, and just going to Martinsville will give him some more confidence, and hopefully he can win there when we're there.
Yeah, that would be great.
So then they probably won't let us leave.
Yeah, they probably won't, because if we show up and they win,
yeah, like, you're coming to Homestead when we go.
All right, Joe, we're on you this time.
Well, I got to go with my guy that I think is going to win the whole thing.
Who is that?
Kyle Busch.
You know, to stick with the Biff thing. This is stick with the. Well, I was going to say Skittles, but it ain't Skittles. Stick with the M&Ms.
You know, well, I ain't gonna say.
Go ahead.
Hey, I just seen this. I'm gonna give a shout out to Macy Causey. Her dad just posted Macy Causey live on XM Sirius Channel 90 with Kenny Wallace at 8 p.m. How cool is that?
That's really good.
I mean, that's great publicity. Congratulations to those guys. I really hope those guys get picked. It's great for Langley Speedway, our local sport, the Drive for Diversity program. It's a great story. So congratulations to those guys.
All right, now it's my turn to pick. And, well,
you going out on a limb too?
No, I'm not going to go out on a real big limb, but I'm thinking along the lines that.
Is it under the Hendrick Motorsports banner?
Yeah, kind of. I'm gonna hope that Jeff Gordon does decent this week.
So you're picking the 24.
I'm picking the 24.
I was wondering if you were going to pick the 24 or the 48.
I'm no.
Clayton's going with the 11. He said he rode the 11 last week. He's going with the 11 this week.
Well, I ain't taking away from your win, Clayton. I just want you to know I'm not taking away from your win. Congratulations on winning. But it's still,
finally.
But it's still a competition between the three of us too. And everything I get over them, I like. And so, I beat them. I don't even know you that well, and I would not be reveling in the fact that that I beat you, but I beat them. So that's all that matters to me.
Don't listen to what he says, Clayton.
So anyway, well, we had a great show.
We have a great show.
Hopefully next week, we were supposed to have Cale Conley with us this week.
Our pace car driver.
Hopefully we'll have him next week. I've talked to him. He tested a dirt late model tonight. So he wasn't going to be able to be with us. And
I mean, why would he driving a race car or be on our show?
Yeah.
I can't understand why he picked the car.
Well, Joe's with us, so. But hopefully we'll have him next week. We're gonna have to rag him a little bit about their pace car ride.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that he wrecked twice this past weekend.
Oh,
So I'm gonna have to give him a hard time when I talk to him.
I'm gonna give him a hard time, or his crew chief Eddie Perdue, because Cale Conley has that good hair, and so did Eddie Perdue. Our Langley Speedway guys knows Eddie from back in the day. They had Chip Hudson he was Chip Hudson's crew chief, and Chip was like the only guy that could run a 100-lap race and pull his helmet off. His hair would still be perfect. It would still be perfect. Not even a hair out of place.
Well, just as long as Cale Conley don't send me any pictures of you running around in a tutu or whatever it was that you last
He lost
year.
his bet.
Yeah, and you and them will keep all that to yourself. But anyway, we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll have a good week. Wish y'all a good week too.